everybody, and welcome to the Scott Show podcast. This is the Raw Results Show. We're talking about what happened on Monday Night Raw just 30 minutes ago. It was live from Baltimore, Maryland, a beautiful city. I've actually lived there for a month. Wonderful city. So the entire Raw roster was on the stage. General Manager Kurt Angle came out, and then comes out Stephanie McMahon. Making her big return to the SmackDown roster. The Raw roster, I'm sorry. I'm so used to saying Shane on SmackDown. Stephanie said Angle is going to be the team captain of Team Raw. Since he wrestled at TLC, he can join it again. He led by example, is what she said. But it didn't take too long until she said all the great things and made Angle look good. At the same time, she just berated him for being incompetent, as was the word that she used. And I just don't know how that works when she berates her people. I just don't like that in her character. I wish that her character had a little bit more fight to her as a, hey, you need to go take care of this, but not, hey, you need to take care of this, but you're a piece of crap. Or when they were backstage, she said she meant every word of it out there, and if you don't believe me, you can ask Mick Foley. And it's one of those things. I just don't like that character of her. I'm sure that she can be the vindictive person, but she could do it in a different way. Just saying. So the Miz comes out with Axel and Bo Dallas. They get out of the limousine. Angle doesn't want the Miz being a part of the team, so we'll see who gets that shot. So Nia Jax and Bayley happened. Alicia Fox comes out first, says that, I found you a suitable replacement to face off against Bayley. I don't have time, I'm the team captain. And Nia Jax came out, she made her return back to the team. Quite interesting. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Nia Jax now that she's back. I think that the idea that she was gone, and that she left for whatever reason, let us never find out why, because it's just speculation, and I just don't like that part. So Nia gets picked to be part of the women's team for the Survivor Series matchup, which will be really exciting. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that. Nia Jax and then all the other girls that are out there. Hopefully she could just kill Naomi. I would be totally cool with that. Then you had Samoa Joe come back. Samoa Joe comes back and fights off against Apollo Crews. Kind of surprised that they're putting Apollo Crews out there. They couldn't find somebody else to job Joe out to. It's just kind of weird. But Samoa Joe wins the match rather quickly. I just wish they'd do more with Crews. I really do. The announcers plugged the 25th anniversary episode on the 22nd of January. Remember, Raw is the longest episodic television show, weekly running episodic television show in history. Ugh. Just say you're number 2 behind The Simpsons and deal with it. Crazy. Alright, so The Miz comes out and faces off against Matt Hardy. And this was a longer match than I wanted it to be. And kind of a surprise, but The Miz takes the victory, the pin and the win, over Matt Hardy. So he will be facing off against Baron Corbin coming up here in a few weeks at Survivor Series. Alexa Bliss comes out. Actually, she talked to Kurt backstage congratulated him for being the team captain, and then said, hey, we need to have, Angle said they needed to have a match between James and Bliss. Title on the line for tonight, and that is the main event of the evening, is Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. The next match was Stacey Cullen versus Asuka. I actually wish that they would make Asuka a little bit more serious character when she walks the ring. I think that she did that in NXT. They're adding a little bit more dancing to her. It's just kind of weird to me. Just saying, but you have a different style when you're in NXT where it can be highly fixed to when you have somebody in the ring and they just do what they do. So Daniel Bryan comes into Angle's office. It's just a trip that Daniel Bryan is the SmackDown general manager. He comes in and talks to Kurt Angle for a minute, says, I didn't have anything to do with that. And Kurt Angle just doesn't really care. And says, hey, I'm bringing my gold medals. I'm going to bring the Raw roster. And I'm going to take you guys out. So it's really interesting what they're doing with that. And hopefully Shane will be put on the team SmackDown. So then it's kind of just Shane and Kurt. I think that'd be really awesome. So Michael Cole sends you the package from Jinder and Lesnar. I think that one is going to be kind of a boring. I just don't want to see it. It would be kind of cool to see Lesnar just kill Mahal, but I just don't really want to see it. So Kane attacks Daniel Bryan apparently. And Booker said that he got what he deserved in the backstage area. They did that pretty strong to put over the fact that Daniel Bryan needed to get his comeuppance. And it just happened. Finn Balor versus Cesaro. This was a great match. Cesaro is an amazing wrestler. But Finn Balor gets his pin back, which is okay. Except Kane came out and scooped him up for a tombstone right afterwards, which I thought was kind of crazy. And then Kane versus Seth Rollins. Kane won that match. Wrestling sometimes makes you really tired. Kane won his match over Seth Rollins. I don't know how much longer we'll have Kane due to the fact that he might be mayor soon. They did have the Bar come out, and Ambrose and Rollins in the Bar. I don't think that the whole fight is done. But Kane beat up both the Rollins and Ambrose, so they're really pushing him for something. It's quite interesting. The Miz was backstage. He comes out, and there's a trash bag there, and they say that could be from Braun Strowman. That was dumb, folks. Really just dumb. I can't even believe... I'm just not even going to worry about all that until we get to the end. So, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson were dressed as their people from Southpaw Regional Wrestling. Heath Slater was dressed up as Santa Claus, and Rhino was dressed up as Mrs. Claus. Apparently, they showed up late to the party and could only get what was there. They had a trick or street fight, which is exactly what it was called. And it was a cool little match. I mean, for guys just to have fun and wrestle and use that hardcore style that WWE is so used to and have a little bit of fun. It was a cool little match. I mean, they got to hit each other with pumpkins, and they used a styrofoam grave marker, which I thought was funny. Gallows hit Rhino with it, and then the commentary team, I think it was Corey Graves said, "Well, it's styrofoam. It doesn't hurt." I think a lot of things were styrofoam, including a baseball bat from Hacksaw Jim Duggan, if I'm correct. So yeah, it gave that kind of wrestling a nod, saying, "We know what we're doing." and it was pretty funny. Heath Slater and Rhino actually won that match. I have no idea how or why they won that match, but they did. And moving on, that's just what we do. Elias came out. He was backstage smiling a lot. Then Miz went to the bar and said, hey, Braun's coming back. And the bar said, you're on your own, buddy. And Kane said that earlier. So the Miz is kind of shaking in his boots. They did make fun of the Baltimore Ravens. Elias did. And Jason Jordan and Elias had their little thing. Jordan grabbed his guitar and smashed it. So 2 guitars down, and I don't even know how many more to go. The Miz was backstage saying, we need to leave, but Angle said, no, you gotta stay until the show ends, just in case SmackDown interferes, and so they had to walk back to their locker room. So back from the break, Enzo Amore was out with Drew Gulak. Gulak does a little intro, and it was really hilarious when he said that he is S-O-F-T soft, because you know that Enzo's is spelled differently, but of course Gulak spelled it correctly, which was great for his character. Now Gulak took the loss really quick to Kalisto, which was not really cool. I wasn't very happy about that. I don't like Kalisto, so it just kind of screwed everything. And then tomorrow, Fatal 4-Way. It's going to be Mustafa Ali, Daivari, Tony Nese, and Gran Metalik in 205 Live. I would love to see what they're going to do with that, but, whatever. The driver will be waiting for The Miz when Raw is over. It sounds like a horror movie like Saw. Mickie James and Alexa Bliss went on for a little while, and that was the main event match of the evening. Alexa Bliss actually beat her with a punch, which I thought was really dumb. The live stream I was watching thought it was really dumb too. However, it did not get any dumber than seeing the return of Braun Strowman. I like Braun Strowman, I really do. If I was Simon Miller, I'd give this a down. It was just really, really silly seeing this guy who looks pretty clean coming out of a garbage truck, and he's supposed to be in there for like a week. So I thought that was really, really dumb. But he actually hopped right out of the car on the limo and did like this huge dive and running after the Miztourage, and he beat up Axel really, really good. Curtis Axel took like 6 or 7 power slams. Bo Dallas took a few too. They threw him down the ramp. Braun really showed his power here and did a great job, but the beginning was just so dumb. So big shout down, big thumbs down for that. And yeah, it was just terrible. I think The Miz and Braun are going to be a great little match going on at maybe Clash of the Champions. It's a great idea to give him the Intercontinental Championship, give him a little push. I really want to see what they do with these guys, because all 3 of them are going to have to be major bump machines for Braun. But however it works, folks, we'll see what happens in the future on the Scott Show podcast and the Raw recap. Catch us at 102550.net. The Scott Show is always at tinyurl.com/102550. You can find all of our videos and podcasts, including TCW Fantasy Wrestling. Now, we have TCW Fantasy Wrestling on Thursdays and Sundays. On Sundays, we will have them the day that is not the pay-per-view. So for Survivor Series weekend, and we also have Clash of the Champions in December. We will not have TCW Fantasy Wrestling those days. So check that out. And what we're going to do, we're going to head out here now. I'll see you guys real soon. Tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, Scott Show Wake Up Call.